Welcome back to the Keystone Highlight Series, a video series which takes a detailed look at many of Path of Exile's Keystone passive skills, discussing their mechanics and interactions, and their use case in various builds. And if you're interested, you can find the full Keystone Highlight playlist right here. This Keystone Highlight is all about Power of Purpose. This is a timeless keystone, which means it's acquirable by socketing a timeless jewel into your passive skill tree. And this jewel will then dominate passive skills within its radius, including keystone passive skills which will be transformed into a new keystone, the type of which is based on the type of timeless jewel and the name on the jewel itself. The Power of Purpose keystone is granted by the Militant Faith timeless jewel when it's in the name of Avarius. Power of Purpose is one of the more unpopular timeless keystone passive skills, likely due to the fact that it's unobtainable from any other sources, which means it competes directly with other powerful timeless keystone passives. This keystone has a single modifier. 80% of maximum mana is converted to twice that much armor. So this is a mechanic that interacts with a resource, in this case mana, to provide another stat, armor. Importantly, this is a conversion mechanic, which is actually a very rare stat outside of damage conversion. Power of Purpose will specifically convert a percentage of mana into twice as much flat armor. This is not reservation, so let's take a look at a quick example of how exactly this mechanic works. Let's say a character has 600 maximum mana and they have no increases to mana or armor. By allocating Power of Purpose, the character's mana will go from 600 to 120, and the character will gain flat armor equal to 2 times the amount of lost mana, so 960 flat armor is gained. This is a very important distinction between conversion and reservation, because when using Power of Purpose, a character can still continue to reserve 100% of their mana pool against auras and other reservation skills. This may create a problem when trying to reserve flat mana auras such as Vitality, but against percentage-based auras and other reservation skills, the outcome will be the same, with the only difference being that the character will have a lower amount of remaining mana if there is any unreserved mana remaining after reservations. When using Power of Purpose, any increases to maximum mana will also increase the armor gained through the keystone by the same amount. For this reason, percentage increases to maximum mana are additive with percentage increases to armor with regards to increasing the armor granted by the keystone. For example, let's say the same character with 600 mana allocated some modifiers which granted a total of 50% increased maximum mana. The character would now have 900 maximum mana, and with Power of Purpose, their mana pool would be lowered to 180, so they would gain 1440 armor from the keystone. If the character then allocated modifiers which granted 50% increased armor, this increase would be applied to the flat armor granted from the keystone and not directly to the total 1440 armor. So the character would gain 960 flat armor, which is increased by the 50% increased maximum mana and the 50% increased armor, for a total of 1920 armor. However, do remember that increases to mana will only increase the armor granted by the keystone, whereas any increases to armor will also improve your armor granted from other sources such as gear or the Determination aura. When Power of Purpose is used with modifiers which grant extra of a stat based on maximum mana, such as the Hierophant Sanctuary of Thought Notable, which grants the modifier gain 20% of maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield, the total extra stat that's granted is determined by the original resource prior to conversion. Let's use the same example from earlier. A character with 600 mana has modifiers that increase maximum mana by 50%, so their maximum mana is 900. They allocate Sanctuary of Thought, granting 20% of maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield. The character gains 180 maximum energy shield. If the character allocates Power of Purpose, their mana pool will go from 900 to 180, but the maximum energy shield granted by Sanctuary of Thought will remain at 180, because this modifier grants energy shield based on the maximum mana prior to the conversion from Power of Purpose. Once again, increases to maximum mana and increases to maximum energy shield are additive when calculating the total energy shield granted by this modifier. For example, the same character which has 600 base mana increased by 50% up to 900 maximum mana is gaining 180 maximum energy shield from the Sanctuary of Thought notable. If this character allocates modifiers which grants a total of 50% increased maximum energy shield, the increase would be applied to the flat energy shield and not the total 180 energy shield. So the character would gain 120 flat energy shield, which is increased by the 50% increase to maximum mana and the 50% increase to maximum energy shield for a total of 240 maximum energy shield. Due to this interaction, when using Power of Purpose and modifiers which grant extra maximum energy shield based on maximum mana, any increases to maximum mana become quite valuable as they'll increase mana, which also increases the armor granted by Power of Purpose and the energy shield granted by all modifiers which grant extra maximum energy shield based on maximum mana. The combination of Power of Purpose with Sanctuary of Thought provides one of the strongest use cases for the Keystone. A Hierophant using this combination of mechanics can use the large amount of increased mana reservation efficiency of skills which is also granted by the Sanctuary of Thought notable, to use all of their mana pool to reserve powerful auras and other reservation skills. They can then make use of Mind Over Matter in combination with Eldritch Battery and Energy Shield Leech. This combination of mechanics will make use of their Energy Shield as a resource for mana skill costs, including the use of a Divine Blessing aura, whilst the damage taken from mana before life effects continues to use Energy Shield as a defensive resource to absorb damage taken. Power of Purpose can also be used as a great early game timeless keystone to provide a source of armor on characters typically on the top or right side of the passive skill tree that can also spec into Eldritch Battery. On these builds, this keystone will help to provide much needed physical damage mitigation for early map progression, which can be swapped out later when stronger gear and other upgrades are required. Overall, Power of Purpose is a keystone which has limited use cases, but can provide a good defensive boost for a character's early progression. It's rarely going to be used in a late game scenario as it competes with other powerful timeless keystone options, but it may become useful in the future, especially if access is added to another source such as a unique item. That's it for this keystone highlight. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I want to give a big shout out to my channel members. Your support is appreciated. If you'd like to support the growth of this channel, click the join button below to find out more. And remember to like and subscribe and come back for more videos like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned and stay safe.